Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of March 2023. I hope you are well. I'm using the the Night Sun Tarot for you today. Bit of housekeeping before we begin. If the reading resonates with you and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, there is an extended that you can access at the end. That's the first link in the description box. The second link in the description box is to the 6-month overviews that I did for each of the signs. They run from January to June, obviously, 2023. And as we are now a little way through that period, I have reduced them accordingly. So if you haven't had a chance to check those out, do please feel free to go and have a look. The third link in the description box is to my private community, the Order of the Phoenix over on Circle. You can get access to all the extended content over there and also hang out with lots of awesome people. So if that floats your boat and you're interested in that, you know what to do. Right, let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Cancer. Could I have 3 cards for Cancer, please? Here we are. There's the first one. We have the 8 of Pentacles in your recent past. Tell me about current energy for Cancer, please. We have the Queen of Swords. That's Libra energy in the minor arcana, rather. And what's coming towards Cancer? We have Judgment. Now, big decisions coming up for you. We've got the 4 of Swords at the bottom of the deck with the Empress. And it feels like this decision has been a long time coming. That's the way I want to put it, Cancer. You know, this 4 of Swords, I'm talking about taking a break and detaching from things. You know, it often talks about objectivity, I feel, in the face of processing what has ailed us, what has been our 3 of Swords in any given situation. But you have enough information now. That's what it's saying. And there are decisions that need to be made this month that will change your life. There's no question about that. For me, looking at what we've got on the table here. So let's get some clarifiers and we'll put some meat on the bones of this. Tell me about the 8 of Pentacles, please. We have 9 of Cups. Let's flip this around. See, oh my life, what is this? That shit out of the way. Right, I'm just going to move the cards because it's easier than trying to move the camera. And it's got a mind of its own, this thing. So we've got the 9 of Cups down there underneath the 8 of Pentacles. What else do we have? The 8 of Pentacles, please. We've got the King of Cups. Outstanding. Scorpio energy. Tell me about the Queen of Swords. We have the Justice card. Libra again. Double Libra. And the 7 of Cups. Tell me about Judgment, please. We've got the Page of Swords. And we have the Queen of Pentacles with the 4 of Wands now at the bottom of the deck. Let me put it there so you can see it. Right. The 4 of Wands is about the creation of a new foundation, right? That's the key phrase that we associate with this card. But it has this energy of being a portal. And, you know, the fact that these 2 4s, you know, the relevance of that is not lost on me here. Because if you think about 4 in terms of the number that it is, right, it's a square. Think about it in terms of a shape. It's a square. It is something on which you can build. Now, you have been building for a long time in the work that you have been doing on yourself and the way that you've been processing whatever the 3 of Swords has been to you in your life thus far. And we've reached this level of peace. Now, that's cool and everything. But it's time to go somewhere with it, and that's why the 4 of Wands is here. And this portal energy is almost having you walk through it this month in a way that you did not ever anticipate you would do so. What have we got sat behind that? 10 of Cups. I mean, hello. That's absolutely beautiful. And it's almost like you've sat on... Yeah. What we don't want you to do, and I think that this is possibly where you might be, is be sat processing for so long that you forget what it is to take action. And it's almost like something wakes up this month and all of the pieces fall into place. You know, it might be, I'm just kind of skipping to the end here, it might well be that there is something that acts as a catalyst for this decision. I would expect actually almost certainly that would be the case for you. But the decision that you make is one that is a long time coming, that you are now prepared to take. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. We've got this 8 of Pentacles, clarified by the 9 of Cups and the King of Cups too. So in your recent past, and by recent past I do mean it could be this morning actually when you got out of bed, or it could be 6 weeks, 8 weeks in the past. This is the energy that we're working with here. And the 8 of Pentacles is about commitment. It's about mastery too, and it's about investing in things. But it talks about hard work, the hard work that is required in order for you to achieve a state of mastery. And what do we have underneath it? We have the 9 of Cups and we have the King of Cups. So if this is not what you have been working on for the longest time, Cancer, I don't know what is. Because if the King of Cups is a level of emotional mastery, and it is, but one that is, rather than your card, which is the Queen of Cups, and it's how we allow things to come in, it's about what you allow to go out. It's about sitting in a very solid way on your emotional throne and saying, do you know what, I can't really be shifted from here. It's going to take something really quite dramatic to move me off here. There's a sort of stoicism to it. But it's the stoicism that comes naturally when you start dealing with all of the emotions rather than the ones that you enjoy, right? So in the past, you have spent some considerable amount of time. I've termed it this way a few times with other signs. It's kind of like grubbing around in the dark, looking for the shadowy things, pulling them out, working with themes of codependence, themes of toxicity within relationships, how narcissists seem to turn up and you seem to be attracted to them like a moth to a flame. Until we've got to a point where we've been able to understand the mechanism that is at play behind that, the script that is running, we can't stop throwing ourselves at that flame. We've laughed about it at times on this channel about, mistaking red flags for pretty red bunting, celebrating your situation. And I feel qualified to say this because my Venus is in Cancer. It's a difficult placement, I have to say. Most of my placements are difficult, if I'm honest, but that one particularly has been educational. Let's put it that way. It's been very educational. But because you have not put that work in, where your attention seems to have been shifting to is, okay, we've dealt with all the grim stuff. We've been carting that out by the bucket load. And now what is left is something that is authentically you at the core. And like I said, rather than it being a Queen of Cups situation whereby you're kind of working this all out for yourself, it's like, what is the expression of this outside of you now? How does this show up in the decisions that you make, in the people that you choose to spend time with, in the way that you show up in the world altogether? I think you're coming from a place of looking for the good now. We could say that you are content. That would be possible, but I'm not sure that that's it. I feel like it's more that your emotions are under control. And the way in which situations used to broadside you because you didn't see them coming, because you missed the flags, because you weren't actually looking for something that made you happy. You weren't taking care of that side of things for yourself. What you were looking for was somebody else to make happy, in the hope that the feedback loop that created would give your life some sort of validity. Again, I'm going to point out I am Venus in Cancer, so I have done this myself. We're taking it all into us now. It's all about us and what we want and how we move forwards and how we take charge of our emotions. Both of these cards are about being in charge of our emotions. And the fact that it's coming up under the 8 of Pentacles, it is an acknowledgement to just how much work you have put in. Now, when we move into your current energy, we have this Queen of Swords, and we also have the Justice card underneath. Now, for me, the Queen of Swords is a lower echo of the Justice card anyway. They're both represented by Libra, or they both represent Libra, rather. But both archetypes are concerned with fairness, equality. And in the case of the Queen of Swords, it's about passing, as in P-A-R-S-E, to pass, a great deal of information and start extricating what is actually useful from it. Now, you know, the Queen of Swords is known sometimes to be a little bit hard, and I don't think it would do you any harm to have the Queen of Swords as an operating energy within you, because it's the energy of the Queen of Swords that allows you to cut off situations that are now no longer for your highest good. Well, were they ever? That's questionable, but you have at least learned something from these. But rather than being on this constant cycle of learning from difficult relationships, it's like getting out ahead of the difficult relationships and being able to spot these kind of challenging people before they get anywhere near you, because ultimately that's what we're wanting. We're not wanting to be constantly stuck in this cycle of being like, what's the latest learning experience that we're going to have. It's going to be about making sure that the experiences that we do have are ones that bring value to our life of a more overt nature, rather than the what's the word that I'm looking for? The kind of benefit that comes from challenging experiences, right? The resilience and the character that is built from that. You know, you have to really step back from the situation that you're in to be able to appreciate those. And I think that you've done that. I think that that's something that you've been able to do, but only after the event. This is about getting up ahead of it. So this Justice card, which is also talking about balance, and it's talking about fairness, and it's talking about justice, has also got much more of a sense of consequences now. Right? So we are wary of the consequences because we understand them. And so we pay attention ahead of time. And this Seven of Cups, which I'm going to grab another deck. Let's go with the Tarot of the Abyss because it's nice and close. This Seven of Cups is representative of what we have found to be confusing in our interactions with other people. Now, it's numbered as 7, and 7 is about looking for answers in things. It isn't necessarily looking for the glittering cup and the one that holds, you know, the most bountiful contents. It's about the right one for the situation. And one has to be discerning when working out what that is. Now, I think you probably spent quite a lot of time trying to work out now what it is that you actually want. I think that's where you are right now. What do I actually want? If I put my happiness front and center, what do I actually want? Because the interesting thing is that, like, most people, when you ask them what they want, the first thing that they'll do is they'll reel off a whole list of things that they don't want. Right? Or the things that they list are elimination of stress, right? Elimination of money worries, elimination of all these sorts of things. And it's like, well, that will come when you pursue what is that thing that lights you up. That thing that makes your energy increase, your frequency increase. I don't know, frequency increase. It's like you're moving it to a more resonant spot. And I think you're done with enumerating all of the things that you don't want. There's something really big about the energy of justice here. It's kind of coming in and it's being all like, nah, everything is equal now, right? We're not working on this kind of thing, which is what we were before, with you down here and other people up there. There's much more equality. And I feel like what you thought you wanted, and you might have put a considerable amount of effort into trying to achieve that thing, is now starting to morph into something else. It might be a realization that the thing that you thought you wanted is absolutely, nowhere near perhaps the thing that you wanted is actually something that, would set all of your internal alarms off now. Tell me about the Seven of Cups. Thank you. Got the Wheel of Fortune. Tell me about the Seven of Cups, please. Thank you. Queen of Wands. And there you are at the bottom of the deck, Queen of Cups. This Queen of Wands is in contemplation of all the things that you could do. And it's so interesting how many times I have used that phrase just in this last week while I've been doing the monthlies for everyone. It's not about whether I should do something. It's not about whether I have to do something or I must do something. It's something that's, it's quite Aquarian in nature, right? As I'm recording this, we're in Aquarius season, for another couple of days, but then we're moving into Pisces season. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, actually. And this is a lot more based in, well, fucking pull over my, can I get my words out today? I don't know what's going on with me, right? Aquarius is about innovation. Aquarius is about the new things. Aquarius is about, in some ways, it's also about rebellion. It's about turning away from orthodoxy. It's turning away from those should, ought, must kind of words and going, could. What could I do? Aquarius really values that. But so does Pisces, because Pisces is imaginative and Pisces is visionary. And so with all the information that you now have about you and how you work and how you show up in relationships and how you have attracted a certain sort of person towards you and how maybe you have repeated the first 6 years of your life over and over again as an adult, and now you are breaking free of that. So Wheel of Fortune says that this is a really, really important time. Often I interpret that in terms of something that you need to learn, something that is going to make a difference here. The thing is, for you, I feel like you've already learned it. So then the other interpretation of the Wheel of Fortune is the one that is really coming to bear here, and that is fortune's improving. Now that doesn't happen in a vacuum. The universe doesn't go, well, Cancer's had quite enough shit now, maybe we'll take the foot off their throat and we'll go and put it on somebody else's instead. No. The Wheel of Fortune says something must have changed. And when something changes inside, then the external world begins to reflect that. So this dreaming of what you could do, this contemplation of what you could do, and I think that for the most part, there are no other people involved in this. This is very much about you. There might be, ancillary kind of considerations like, how will this affect my partner? How will this affect my kids? All that sort of thing. But that really is stuff that needs to be worked out after you have worked out what it is that you actually want to do or what you could do. Seven of Cups is actually an incredible array of options that are in front of you that you can choose from, that you will allow yourself to choose from in a way that you have not before. So we come to Judgment. We come to the month of March, where Pluto will move into Aquarius and Saturn will move into Pisces and everything will change. We've been talking about this a lot. Everybody's talking about this a lot, and some people are quite black-pilled and have decided that it's the apocalypse. But honest to God, if you have not noticed that we've been in the apocalypse for the last 3 years, like, hello, where have you been? But that's all just distraction. Ultimately, that's all distraction. All apocalypse means is the lifting of the veil, and I think that we're all ready for that. But this doesn't mean that we have to get wound up in current events. It doesn't mean that we have to start fretting for our future. What it does mean is that we need to start making really strong, powerful decisions about the kind of life that we are going to lead moving forwards. And you are so ready for that. Cancer, you're so ready for that. We've got this Page of Swords indicating that you are engaging with the world in an entirely different way now. It's funny, like this concept of consensus reality has been coming up quite a lot too. I was thinking about it quite a lot last week, maybe the week before, because I think that's the thing that's starting to break down. And if consensus reality breaks down and the world isn't operating the way that we think it is, and our lives aren't operating the way that we thought they were, then you could choose to see that as chaos, or you could see that as an opportunity to construct your own reality. Because I think that's what the fragmentation is that's going on here, right? It's the breakdown of consensus reality where governments are in charge, and we all do what we're told, and we're good lawful citizens, and we show up and we do our best in relationships, except we were doing that from an unhealthy position, so they were always going to go a little bit skew with. It's all breaking down. It's like all bets are off now. So this question of what you want and the reality that you are going to create for yourself has been absolutely predicated by the notion that you must think differently about the world, and that's what you're doing. You've been collecting information for a long time. You've been running that information through your filters for a long time. Have you become a little bit complacent about what you will do moving forwards? Have we got stuck in that analytical mode? I think possibly we have. But decisions will be made this month by you, and they will change everything. The Queen of Pentacles is another indication that what comes up for you this month is going to be for your highest good, in so much as your responses to it are much more evolved than they would have been 2 years ago. I think that there's a likelihood that you are, in some cases, willing to start again. I think some of you might be moving, or deciding to move. Some of you might even be emigrating or something like that. Some of you will be deciding that your status as an employee is now no longer something that you wish to perpetuate, and you're going to start your own business instead. There's a little leap of bravery here, but the bravery is necessary, is only very small, because it's almost like you've come to a series of conclusions, and to ignore the information that is in that. God, were we talking about this last month, Cancer? I certainly remember talking to one sign about this, and I think it might be you. That the conclusion is kind of obvious. Sorry, I kind of jumped straight back into that other reading, and I can only remember that bit of it, and I feel like it might have been you that I've been talking about. You spent so long working on all of this stuff. And I won't even criticize you for kind of daydreaming a little bit about what could be. I wouldn't criticize you for that anyway. I think that's a really healthy thing to do. But as goes the lack of movement thus far on that. Because before you can manifest anything, you must be able to visualize it. So this is a month where I think there are a certain set of solid decisions that are being made, which is that you might decide on one thing that you're going to do, and like I said, it could be geographical relocation. It could be something to do with your work, shifting from one status to another. It could be all manner of things, actually. It could be that these daydreams condense down to 2 or 3 really good ideas that you have moving forwards, what you're going to do. It's a little less now about how you feel. The focus is off that. The focus is off working through all of this information that you've got and trying to make sense of it. It's like you've got everything that you need now. So now it's about the future and where you move forwards from this. The Queen of Pentacles, like I said, is reiterating that whatever you choose, it's because you are putting yourself front and center now. It's a very grounded energy, which is good, because sometimes the Queen of Cups can be a little ungrounded. Oh gosh, look at that. The Lover's card, a card of manifestation, a card of making a choice. It's not about what you choose. It's not like, in a personal reading, I would have you come to me and say, right, I've got these things to choose from, which one should I pick? I would say, tell me about them. Let me act as judge and jury on the relative value of each one of these ideas that you have. It's about looking around at your life and saying, I'm ready for change. whatever happens, I have changed so much that things cannot stay the same now. And I feel emboldened to make those changes. That's the Lover's card, in essence. It's a free will. It's the choice. And yeah, it's about union, and it's about harmony, and it's sometimes about relationships too. But it's about the choice. I mean, for you, if it is about relationships, it would be a getting away from this idea that anyone who shows you interest, that you're almost beholden to them to show interest back. That's something that I notice with my Cancer placement a lot when I was younger, certainly, at least anyway. You know, almost like you were obliged to reciprocate. No matter what your intuition told you, no matter, you know, whatever, it was like, got to be in a relationship. This would see you going about relationships in a very different way. And I mean, ultimately, when you've got the Lover's card, we're always talking about balance as well. There's the harmony, there's the union of stuff. But for you here, it's about the free will involved in the choices that you are making. The exercise of your free will. The Two of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck here. And that Two of Pentacles means it's about logistics now. That's what it comes down to. You make the decision, now how do you make it work? You know, in manifestation, it's not, well, if you're lucky, you can have these things kind of drop onto your lap, but ultimately it's about this, here is an idea, how do I bring it to life? That's manifestation, not, I don't know, sitting and waiting for it to knock on your door. It's like, I'm going to do something about this. I'm emboldened to do something about this. And yeah, there's a bit of logistical work with the Two of Pentacles, but this is nothing. It's really nothing compared to the big energies of Judgment and the Lovers, and even these court cards here, Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. Because what's coming up for you is new, and you are manifesting it, and you will walk through that door, which is incredibly exciting, Cancer. I don't mind telling you. Ooh, I love it. Right, I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. So if you would like to dig into what March holds a little bit deeper and see what it is that you need to know, you're welcome. Come join me there. It's the first link in the description box. But if not, just know that this ephemeral and kind of ethereal daydreaming is coming to an end this month in favor of solid action to improve your circumstances. And it's huge. It's really, really big. I love it for you. All right, take care. Know that I love you all very, very much. And I'll see you soon.